Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you are all over your hangovers and now having to process what we just went through at Anfield. It's finished. Liverpool 4, Newcastle not 3, in fact, just 2. We were almost at the requisite scoreline for this fixture, but what a game, what a game. I'm joined by my regular partners in Chris and Kev. Chris,
Hello.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year,
mate. Happy New Year, mate.
Well, off to a good start, 2024, isn't it?
Got the result. Yeah, it's just talk about making life hard for yourself. But yeah, good. It's a good win. 3 points clear. I'll take that. You know, I'd like to be a bit more clinical, but we'll go through that in a minute. But listen, shooting aside, the actual performance was really good, but the finishing, it's a bit criminal. But never mind. Listen, 3 points clear. Start of the year. Keep it going.
That's right. And Kev, unlike a few other games we've done reaction shows for, I don't think we're going to struggle to fill up the show tonight. It was a pretty action-packed match, wouldn't you say?
I thought it was a great game. We were brilliant up until the final clinical bit. Everything that we did was dominance. Look, it's not often you come up against a mid-table side or a top half side, and you absolutely batter them like that, and only come away with 4 goals. And you're scratching your head coming away with only 4 goals. We've only scored 4. It was one of the nights. I mean, there's so many good performances in that. And Paul Giovanni is spot on. Should have been 8. And you wouldn't argue with it. If it was 7 or 8 too, you wouldn't argue, genuinely. I mean, this is supposed to be, Eddie Howe, lauded by the British press as being the second coming of Christ. Newcastle side are punching way above their Saudi weight, and their Champions League group was the group of death, and they were just unfortunate to come up against better side. Sorry, look, this is a Newcastle side who spent a savage load of money, and we absolutely battered the living shit out of them. Absolutely battered the living shit out of them. And the fact they're getting away with a 4-2 is on us, not on them. They're lucky to be escaping with a 4-2. They're lucky to be escaping with 2 goals.
Yeah.
In all fairness, we absolutely slaughtered them.
So we contribute. Those 2 goals are pretty schoolboy defending.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They were gifts. They didn't work for them. They didn't have to work hard for them. Like we'll get into it in the game, but I mean, that was as good a performance, especially in the first half, bar the finishing, that I've watched us play in a long, long time. We absolutely dominated them from start to finish, except for the finishing. And here we are after winning 4-2, 3 points clear at the top. Absolutely. Look, I'm delighted with life because you just know there's so much more to come from this squad. It's in them. It's just a case of getting it out of them. And look, we'll get into it in a bit, but my God.
Yeah.
I was delighted with the performance. Happy with the result, delighted with the performance.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, nobody can be upset about that result whatsoever. Coming up a little short against Arsenal to allow them to claim the mantle of top at Christmas, and a week later now sit in 4th place, and we now sit top of the table. We've got that gap on City that's 5 points, so 2 if you count their game in hand against Brentford as being a straightforward win for them. But
it's at home, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, who knows? Soon. I'm just considering it to be a 2-point
probably will
gap.
be.
Yeah, just consider it to be a 2-point gap. So control your own destiny. As a Green Bay Packer fan, that's all you can hope for when you get down to the nitty-gritty, is that you control your own destiny and you're not needing help. Because we saw last season what happens when you need help from 3 or 4 other matches going on, and you just end up coming up a little bit short. But Rory Fitzgerald, he's wondering if we can have extra time on the stream. He's looking forward to the discussion and the wave of emotions in those last 35 minutes. I'm not sure what the boss man will say about that. I'm sure we'll hit the hour quite easily on this because we've done it for far more boring games. So, I mean,
we got an hour and 20. We got an hour and 20 out of Union. Where we lost 2-1. It was the shittest game I've seen in my life.
Yeah. Well, when you're good, you're good. When you can create content, you can create content. And I mean, in terms of creating absolute content, quite early before the match, Chris Brack was in the Telegram group with inside knowledge of a very interesting Liverpool lineup that was about to be dropped. And then when the lineup actually did drop, he was saying, I told you so. I told you so. So, Chris, I would like you to run through the lineup and tell me what was interesting about maybe the most predictable Liverpool 11.
Have you not worked out this how you become an ITK? You just go, interesting. I thought, and then when it comes, I go, I told you it was interesting. Well, you misinterpreted it as something else. Interesting. To be honest, look at the lineup. I think the question was, it was Diaz or Gakpo. I think that was the only question mark. Diaz made sense. Yeah, but you got them, Chris. I mean, you know, so it's for half an hour it was going on about what's this interesting lineup. It was so funny. I was so sad to drop a picture of Carvalho, but I was still thinking I wouldn't believe it. It would have been really funny. The others didn't know Trippier was injured, because I do think, because he's so out of form, I think they thought Diaz's pace against Trippier would have just been a bit of a field day with Dan Burns. To be fair, Livramento actually I thought played quite well. I actually think he's on form. He's in better form than Trippier in a weird way. I actually thought no Almiron and no Trippier in the side probably made him a little bit stronger, to be honest, because Trippier has been horrific.
Yes.
Other than that, I was fine. I was fine in the back four as expected. Szoboszlai and Jones, I thought rightfully come back in. Endo, it's his last game before he goes away to the Asia Cup, but he's there on merit. So, and the front three is the front three. You know, I think we went for pace and power, and I was just hoping we hit them early, and we tried our best to, but didn't quite work out that way, did it?
Yeah, no, I mean, we came absolutely flying out of the traps. And before I come to you, Kev, a little talk about Newcastle's lineup. Just a few fun things about the game. Allison's 250th appearance. McAllister back on the bench. Newcastle came in with the second worst away record in the Premier League. They've got 6 losses in their last 7 games in all comps. So now updated, that's 7 losses in their last 8 games. In the last 51 Premier League games at Anfield, Liverpool have only lost to Leeds, and 1994 was the last time Newcastle had won at Anfield. So they made a couple of changes. The big one, obviously, was Trippier being out, Almiron starting on the bench. The young kid Miley gets to go again, but that's a strong 11 from Newcastle.
Just not a lot on the bench, is it?
Yeah,
it's not, and despite what Eddie Howe would have you believe, that's not a cheap lineup either. Tino Livramento they paid good money for. Sven Botman they paid good money for. Dan Burn wasn't cheap. Bruno Guimaraes, big money. You know, Alexander Isak, £62 million.
Yeah, big
Joe
money.
Linton, 49 million pounds. Not a cheap squad by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, they've got injuries, but boo-hoo, so does everyone else. Eddie Howe is the biggest fraud in the Premier League, up with Ten Hag, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, talk about spoofing a living. I mean, the guy had one good season, but you know, you look at the rest of his career, he's been slinging around the Championship, getting sides promoted, or avoiding relegation, trying to play good football, but in general, avoiding the drop more often than not. That's been the total existence of his career. The fact that he's English has kept him in a job for as long as he has.
Seven of their starting 11 started the 2-1 loss at St James's Park, just to put it into context.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a decent side. That's a side that, like me and Chris were chatting before the game, is set up to play 4-5-1 and hit in the counter, and it had pace to burn on the counter. Alexander Isak is a very good striker. He's a very good forward. You know, Anthony Gordon has pace to burn. Joe Linton is one of these players that, I mean, Carragher had him lined up on the right of a 4-3-3, mainly to track Trent and try to do a bit of a man marking job. And I could see that logic behind it. But at the end of the day, we come out of the traps, man. And for the first 5 minutes, we were on fire. And it set the tone for the rest of the half. It just didn't stop. It was pretty relentless all the way through. And Newcastle did well to live with us in large part because Dubravka had a Gordon Banks night. He had one of those nights that he had on his debut when he made his debut against Manchester United, where he just was unreal. He combined with some poor finishing. He made some outstanding saves. He's positioning tonight for some of the saves that he made. And he's the only reason that this isn't a cricket score. He's the only reason that this isn't a cricket score. Ashley L makes a point there. Gordon, 45 million. Bruno, 42. Botman, 42. Livramento, 42. Isaac, 72. You know what I mean? Don't give me the Newcastle fans will come out and start chipping the, they have it there, the poor me syndrome. They're trying to compete with the big boys. My arse. I mean, at the end of the day, they've spent top six money and top six performance, then they've got issues. And the fact that they're going towards injuries, we've got two players who've never played a lick for us this season. We've got three other players who have been out for a good chunk of time, and both left backs out. And you don't see us crying about it. And you didn't see us crying about it last season when we were run into the ground from the year before. So there's reasons for things, but there's not excuses.
Yeah. Sure. It's funny how people forget that when the Saudis came in the following January, they broke the record for biggest transfer spend in a January window ever. That just kind of gets brushed under the rug because they're not spending billions of the trillions that their owners have, that they're being reserved and, keeping their powder dry. Tom Boland taking his flowers here. He says, he told you in the Telegram that Dubravka would turn into prime Schmeichel. He's done it before. And he certainly did. I don't know if somebody has the stats on the number of saves he had. With about 15, 20 minutes to go in the game, he had made 8 saves. Top in the Premier League so far this season was Turner, has made 10 saves in a game, but I'm sure he must have eclipsed that.
We had 15 on target.
Yeah, so that would be 11 saves then. Yeah, that would be 11 saves there. And there was somebody up here. I think I've lost it because here it is. Kieran B, man of the hour, who's gifted us 5 memberships as well too. So if you see the little thing pop up, please accept your memberships because Kieran is still in the holiday spirit. Says Isaac always calm when finishing. That's what I like about him, his composure. And the flip side of that, thanks dear, that composure coin is a man who needs to be spoken about and is kind of all over my notes for the first few minutes, and that is Darwin Núñez. 11th minute, Darwin to Mo, back to Darwin. He chips a ball lovely over the top. It's an over-the-shoulder volley by Darwin. First of many saves coming in. Then Trent clips in a free kick to the back post. Darwin heads it over. Darwin's involved again when we think we've scored in the 17th minute. Jones to Darwin. He bobbles the ball, falls to Diaz. Diaz buries it. Darwin's just off. I thought it was tighter than it was. It turns out it wasn't. I don't know why that VAR check took so long. And then, Chris, we come on to the first contentious moment of the game. 20th minute penalty. Luis Diaz cuts in, dangles a few of their players. Szoboszlai picks it up, slides it across the box. Botman catches Diaz. Anthony Taylor immediately points to the spot. They can't overturn it. Trent's hold the ball for Mo, no VAR challenge, and 5 out of his last 5 penalties, Mo Salah steps up. Happy days, right?
Well, you thought so. Honestly, can Sky get Gary Neville off Liverpool games? He spent a good couple of minutes going, it's a bit of delayed fall. That stupid he does, where it's trying to make it sound controversial. And this is where you have the problems with VAR is you have muppets like Gary Neville who go, maybe. So you have to just give that one. It's a straightforward routine penalty that it always has been. The frustration is Mo has got this little habit at the moment where he sort of rushes his pen. It's like he was too keen to kick it. It's like watching Canates in the League Cup final. It's just a horrible pen, really horrible pen. Easy save for the keeper, and something I think Trent probably should do a bit better with his volley. But look, Mo should bury it. We see with his later penalty, if he just takes a breath and then puts it and aims at the corner like he normally does, no keeper gets near it. It was just nothing about it was good. It wasn't high enough to go down the middle. Wasn't in the corner. It didn't hit it clean. Just everything about it was just poor. It's kind of just summed up Liverpool in that half. Was everything was good until you got to the penalty area, and then between Mo and Núñez, they tried their best to not score. You know, to be fair to Diaz, he actually takes his goal really well. I felt sorry for Diaz because I don't think it's difficult one to stay on side for. At no point does Nunes look around, and he's constantly getting caught off doing that. And at some point, that's going to cost you. And that's probably something Klopp and the team have got to have a word with Nunes about, which is keep yourself on side. And also the pace of Nunes. He doesn't need to try and get the extra yard, cheat them, because no one catches him. Once he's going, he's going. He's probably the fastest one of the front three. So, but yeah, it kind of just summed up Liverpool that first half. Everyone up till the penalty. You're like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and then I mean, Kev, you know, we had somebody there says it's perfect height. Kevin Ball says perfect height for the keeper. Emmett Kavanaugh is saying Mo said in his post-match comment that the keeper's movement confused him and he hesitated a little bit. But then the ball falls perfectly to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I mean, it doesn't fall perfectly. It kind of bobbles up on him. He can't get quite over it and skies it into the Kop. And it's like, son of a bitch. Like, It can't be one of those days. Like, it can't be.
I was getting worried that when you see Trent shin that, and the thing is, when you actually look at the replay and you look at the spin on the ball, and anyone who's ever played football will tell you that ball spinning back at you, you're trying to get your foot over it. It's unless you contact it absolutely perfectly downwards, you're gonna sky it. It's just one of them. They're very rare for those to go in unless you can side foot it or get right over the ball. It's actually a really difficult chance. But the penalty was atrocious. And it was a typical Mo Salah penalty that it isn't in the corner. Kev Ball was spot on. It's the perfect height for the keeper. It was just a bad pen. But at the same time, that VAR check took over 2 minutes. Now, it doesn't need to take over 2 minutes. But at the same time, you don't see Harry Kane hesitating.
Yeah.
If a keeper moves, doesn't matter whether the keeper moves or not. At the end of the day, if you're taking a penalty, you've made your mind up already where the ball is going. Which corner are you hitting? Which side netting are you hitting? And it doesn't matter where the keeper moves. If you hit the side netting, he's not saving it. It was a piss poor penalty, and it felt like after a complete and total domination 20 minutes in, no, not one of these nights. We've seen this movie before, you know, and it's like, no, not this. Not against them. You know, more than anything, not against them. I would mind it. Well, I'd mind it against everybody, but there's certain sides that you just don't want to fucking lose to, and they're one of them.
They certainly are. I mean, even
grinds
after
my fucking gears that side.
Yeah, even after the penalty save, we kept the pressure on him. Like Diaz was on the end of an incredible long ball from Virgil. Jones has a follow-on shot that was very tame. Another easy save for Dubravka. Then Diaz and Jones link up. There's a nice block that's made by one of the center halves. Szoboszlai takes another shot. Trent takes another shot, corner after corner. Then in the 27th minute, Endo gets absolutely wiped out by Bruno Guimaraes and gets a yellow card for it. And that has absolutely nothing to do with anything that's going to happen in the second half whatsoever. And then Newcastle actually come into the game for the first little bit because I thought they were utterly toothless for the first half an hour. They have a counter on a half an hour. Joe Gomez does brilliantly. A couple minutes later, another great piece of covering by Joe Gomez. 34th minute, they have a 2v3. Anthony Gordon gets his head up and absolutely puts his cross into the away fans in the Anfield Road. And then, Kev, stick with you on this one. Trent cuts a pass out and loops a long ball up the field, and Fabian Schär lets it bounce. Darwin Núñez is too strong on him, and I know a lot of people on here have heard me defend Darwin Núñez. I will continue to back Darwin Núñez and hope and believe that he is going to come good, but he must fucking score. Like, he's got to score, right?
He does everything. He does everything right there, bar finisher. And it was one of those games that once you got the first one, the rest were going to come, because then Newcastle might actually have to come out and play football. And that leaves you space to play in. It was always going to be a case. Could you imagine if we'd have gone one down to that lot?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different game completely. It was...
We'd have still won, Kev. We could beat them with 10.
the result masked Darwin Núñez poor finishing. And I'll give him a pass on the first one because he had a chance earlier on that he took on the volley. It was inside the box. He took on the volley. Dubravka got down and made a really good save. And I give kudos to the keeper for making the save more than Núñez with the shot because he took it first time, took it early, and they either go in or they don't. But this one, he did everything right. He did absolutely everything as you want your centre forward to do. He out-muscled the centre back, got in a position, has to finish it. He just has to. And at the end of the day, there's no drama about it. But I'll be honest, he does 9 out of 10 things you want your centre forward to do. He does brilliantly. His work rate is phenomenal. His eye for a pass is really good. His strength, he's running in behind. He has to time his runs better. But other than that, he does everything really, really well. He's just not a good finisher. Whether it's pressure, whether it's in his head, I don't know. Whether it's technical, I don't get it. But at the end of the day, he doesn't finish for the amount of chances he gets. He creates for himself. He doesn't get the amount of goals he should get. I mean, at the end of the day, we're visiting Man United fan. Can you imagine if well, look, let's be honest, Højlund is
poor example. Imagine if Nicholas Jackson. Oh shit! No wait.
No, let's be honest. But let's just be real here. There's levels to this game, but he's creating enough chances for himself in games to bag a goal a game, and we need that. We do, because I'll be honest. I thought Sky were the coverage that I was watching were raving about Mo. I thought Mo was fairly normal today. I didn't think he did anything exceptionally brilliant. Thought he did what he had to do within the game. I thought he was a good 7.5 out of 10, no more, no less. But
I love how highly rated Mo Salah is, that he gets 2 goals and an assist, and you're like, meh.
No, but mate, you look at the goals that he got. He missed a penalty. He had a tap in. And, that's shit that, for the amount of chances that we created, anyone could score those. You don't have to be Mo Salah to score those.
I mean, not anyone. We're just discussing somebody who probably wouldn't.
Look, Darwin needs to clean up his finishing for sure, 100%. Everything else about his game, I love. More than anything, I love his work rate. I love how much when he's involved in the game, how strong he is, how much of a willing runner he is. His pressing is really, really good. But man, he's got to improve his finishing. He just fucking has to. Has to.
Yeah, there's no two ways around it. And I mean, Chris, not only does Darwin miss a gilt-edged chance, but it's like seconds later and the ball's in the back of our fucking net. And it's like, well, there it is. That's the type of game it's going to be. And we get a bit of a...
It's extremely tight, isn't it?
It's not okay. I'm glad you
said
off.
That because it is off, but it's extremely tight.
I thought ours was tight. The Diaz Darwin Núñez offside goal earlier in the first half. And when they showed the lines, there's a clear gap in between. And it's like, okay, why did that take so long? Now, I had Martin Tyler and Andy Townsend, I believe, as my commentators. So lucky me, I'm off to 2024 on a great start in terms of commentators. Well, you could have had fucking Martin Tyler back. But Andy Townsend said, and I quote, marginal, much closer, and maybe on. And he was further offside. He was further offside. The gap in between the lines was bigger.
The angle they were showing on Sky, they've just zoomed in on Karate, and I was going, well, I can't see the context of. I've just seen you zoom in on Karate, so I couldn't see the context. Yeah. Live, it looked tight. When you saw the replay, like, maybe it's not as tight as you think, but I was kind of hoping Liverpool that's a bit of your wake up call, or thank fuck. Do you know what I mean? Because it felt like one of those games thinking, we're gonna absolutely do what it is. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. There's a Man United fan in the chat, and he's just making me laugh.
I mean, it's the height of comedy. Piss off Liverpool. Liverpool. That's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I hope he had a wonderful holiday season. I mean, the records that are being broken in Manchester are absolutely fantastic. So I can understand why they've got extra time on their hands to come on in and
I think last time they lost this many games in a season, they got relegated.
Yeah.
But you know, but apparently, you know, it's going really well. So great.
Well, let's get back into it because again, I have so many stars besides my notes in this game. It was such a brilliant game to watch.
It's got a 10-page book in it.
It's 39th minute, Chris. Trent Alexander-Arnold pulls off what would have been the most audacious goal ever. If that ball hits the post and goes in, ridiculous. Do you think he was trying to shoot or was it a badly hit cross? Because I think he was shooting.
I think it's a badly hit cross.
I think
you can tell by his reaction. I don't think he's going for it. You can tell by the reaction when they did a very dramatic, because they think it's close and they've tried it. His was more of a, I'm over it now.
He's just confident, though. Kev, what do you think? He'd be a tiebreaker here?
I think he felt like he'd overhit a cross. He was pissed off he'd overhit the cross.
Yeah, no, it was a badly hit cross. He tried to cut across the ball and get it to curve in, but he just mishit it and it got too close to the post. That's kind of like a golfer hitting a hole in one. You're not trying to hit a hole in one, but if you do, you're the best thing in the world.
Yeah,
but you're not trying to get a hole in one.
If he goes in, we're all claiming. He did the keeper the eyes there.
Yeah, he's just mustard.
His reaction tells you all. It was more frustrated. I've overhit that.
You're both wrong.
No, it was just a badly hit cross. It was just a badly hit cross.
Would have been a great goal.
He was definitely going for it. 41st minute, we've got a little bit of a break, and Joelinton just absolutely drags down. I was flying with the notes so quickly, I didn't even write down who. I think it was Diaz he dragged down. Anthony Taylor, in his credit, plays a very good advantage. He plays a very good advantage.
But he doesn't book him.
But he does not come back and book Joelinton, which, again, will have absolutely no bearing on the second half whatsoever.
I have the referee Muppet who's from the winner. What's his name? He's a Tranmere. He claims a Tranmere fan. I can't think of his name now. He does Sky. Mike Dean saying like, well, yeah, but he said, but it didn't break down a promising attack, so that's probably why it's not a yellow. But then second half, he flip-flopped and went, do you know what, Gary, you might be right. Maybe he should have been booked for it. Like, he played advantage. And actually, the advantage he played didn't quite work out. But it was the most obvious yellow you've ever seen in your life. It was Taylor Mark. It was Taylor Joelinton. It's ridiculous. But that's what I mean. This is a guy who used to be a VAR official, and and that's the answer he's giving you. Like, fucking hell. It says it all, doesn't it?
I couldn't believe. I mean, you're right, Matt. You're spot on. It was a brilliant advantage to be played, and we should have finished it, and we didn't. The ball goes out the other end. It goes out for a corner. I think it might have gone out for a corner for them, but he didn't go back and book it.
Yeah.
Or it might have gone out for a goal kick. It was one of the two, but he didn't go back and book him. That was a straightforward. That was a dictionary definition booking. You know what I mean? And not only does he do that, he compounds it before halftime when he should have booked him again.
Yeah.
And Joelinton should have been off by halftime.
And then definitely again in the second half. Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? For the life of me, do you know what? It might have even helped Newcastle. If he'd have got sent off, they'd have had to park the bus and made it as difficult as possible for us. But it was Anthony Taylor lost the plot completely.
Yes.
From the minute he gave that advantage.
Yeah.
Up until halftime.
Yeah.
The only one I think that there's any justification that you can say, and it is justification because he was right in what he did, was Trent's booking.
Yeah.
Trent getting booked for kicking the ball away. What Trent has to learn how to do, whistle goes, pick the ball up, walk back, throw the ball back to whoever is coming up to take the free kick, get back into position. The only reason they kick the ball away is so that it gives everyone time to get back into their slots so they don't take a quick free kick. But read the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was poor from him, but I understand why.
Yeah.
Because Taylor...
He's got to learn his vice captain, though, and he's also got to use his brain. Because how many times Van Dijk and Konate telling him, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, but why was he riled? It was nothing to do. It was nothing to do with the yellow card.
Yeah, but
it was nothing to do with the yellow card. But it was nothing to do with the yellow card, was it? It was to do with Taylor's ineptitude in the preceding 5 minutes. the fact that they know they've missed a shed load of chances, they played really well, and they've missed a penalty, and Newcastle should be down to 10 men. And not only are they not down to 10 men, he isn't even on a booking.
Yeah.
And yet here I'm getting a booking for petulance.
Yeah.
Which
and that's
ridiculous.
That's what
yellow cards are brought in.
I know, but he's been done for that a couple of times. He's got to learn.
I know that.
Know what the refs are like.
Yellow cards.
They're so pernickety. They'll pick up stuff like that, but a leg break tackle, they won't. That's kind
of. But this is it. Yellow cards were brought in. Yellow cards were brought in to stop dangerous tackles.
Yeah.
And when you see, and I don't think Joe Linton's tackles were anywhere near dangerous, by the way.
No.
But Joe Linton should have been off. There's no debate. I don't think there's any debate in that. Yeah. And look, it gets to halftime. The crowd booed Taylor off at halftime.
Yes, you Bastard was very audible over my feed. Very audible.
Yeah.
I thought it was Gary Neville, to be fair.
I'm lucky I didn't have him, although in fairness, I had the non-Sky Tyler as well, and he wasn't too bad.
No, Tyler
wasn't too bad.
There's an old friend of the show, Courtney Neary there. Hiya, Courtney.
Hey, Courtney.
Sorry about Costas being injured. We know he's your favorite. You wouldn't get along with Chris because Chris hates him.
We had this conversation face to face, and she was so it's all right.
As well, she should be. I mean, we get into halftime, and it's 18 shots to 1. Liverpool up. I mean, their shot wasn't even on target. Way too wasteful. I mean, whether you're thinking about Darwin Núñez's 2 chances or 3 chances or 4 chances, I mean, the big one being Salah missing the penalty, and it's just like, okay, we do this every single halftime when we're not 2-3 goals to the good. We need to make 2-3 changes at halftime. And Chris, surprise, surprise, we make absolutely no changes at halftime.
No.
Once again.
I think I don't think many managers make changes at halftime. It's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I think we've done it once, which was McAllister when we brought him back when he was still asleep, to be fair. I mean, and a game he should never have started. So I wasn't expecting to make changes. I think Klopp normally gives it 10 minutes and then he brings it off. But yeah, I think at halftime it was an XG of like 2.52. You're like going, yeah, it felt like that sort of half. But they start second half very similar to the first half, to be fair. We're at them, which is kind of what you wanted us to do, really.
Yeah, and I mean, within 4 minutes of the half starting, much like David Warner opening in Pakistan, Mo Salah brings up his 150 EPL goals for Liverpool. Trent plays the ball. Darwin flicks it into the middle. Szoboszlai, in the middle of the park, wins a race that I didn't think he had any right winning, which shows why he's, I think, the 3rd fastest speed clock in the Premier League this year. Like, Szoboszlai has some pace to him. He puts it out to Diaz. Diaz cuts it in. It slides it across. Ball's left to Mo leaves the ball. Darwin squares it. That's a tap in. It's absolutely beautiful. And to top it off, make it even better, Chris, they pan up and show one of he who shall not be named, but one of our old favorites, Bobby Firmino, enjoying Mo Salah's story.
Me and Kev were messaging each other after I'd calmed down at our time because I was fuming. I messaged Kev and said that was like watching the old front three. That was very much a Manny, Bobby, Salah sort of move where Manny drive it, find Bobby do a nice square and Mo tap it in. That was a very old front three goal, and that's where you got the frustration of Darwin, because spotting passes and setting Mo up, he's really good at that. It's just the important thing. It is the finishing malarkey. But listen, I thought 1-0 up, right? Proper football there. Let's see how it goes. Fortunately, it didn't last very long. Bit of breaking news: Klopp has apparently said Szoboszlai felt his hamstring just before being substituted, which I think was probably obvious when we saw him getting substituted. Yeah, hopefully that's just a tweak.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, it's certainly not what we needed, but I feel that we do have reinforcements there, and I mean we'll come on to it when we get to the substitutions, but I don't think Harvey Elliott is undeserving of a run in the team, in that right-sided 8 role, and like Robert Maguire says, Jones has been brilliant in the last couple of games. So yeah, we're going to be down. Maybe Szoboszlai for a game or two. Endo obviously for the month. Mo obviously for the month, and it goes in from there. I mean, Kev, after we score, there is a flurry of chances. All Darwin Núñez based, and I mean, just something just has to bounce in off of them. The second one, is flashed across the front of the goal. I think it hits him in the knee or something like that, and it runs right into Dubravka. But I mean, that was the one to me of like just bounce in. Just take a double ricochet off of your ankles and go into the back of the net just to give them that little boost of confidence. And then they go down and
it almost got to the stage with Darwin that he's trying too hard. For the assist, he waited for Mo to get into position. And it was a brilliant goal. It was a brilliant team goal. And, you're just saying, okay, 2-1, relax now. Settle into the game. You started the second half, you finished the first. You've done really well. Just relax now. And Gordon took advantage of Liverpool's high line with a well-weighted pass, slipping Isaac in for the finish. Yeah. It was a combination of errors. Virgil didn't hold the line. But for me, Chris disagrees, but for me, Alisson has to stay home for that. Alisson's caught in no man's land. And
I was more with the Van Dijk not stepping up, so the chances have come.
Yeah. But credit where it's due, Gordon does really well to create the space. Gordon does really well to create the space. And
I would say
put Isaac in perfectly.
This comes back to the yellow card that Trent gets for being stupid and kicking the ball away. Because if he's not on a yellow card, he just fouls Anthony Gordon. He takes his yellow card, and it goes on from there. He just had to let him go. And then Gordon's got the ability to get his head up and play that line-splitting pass. But just shambles. I don't know if we were already on or if it was just before we came on of just like schoolboy stuff. Like the goals we conceded were just poor. And it happened so quickly after the flurry of chances that you're watching replays of possible second goal, and then all of a sudden, the ball's in the back of the net. And it was, I think Alisson should have charged out more, if anything, or stayed on his line. I think you were bang on with the no man's land there, Kev, of just for one of the few times in memory that Alisson doesn't get a one-on-one situation right. And it's poor. Yeah,
look, I mean, I said at the start of the pod, Alexander Isak, 2 years ago when he was at Real Sociedad, was someone I remember talking to Chris, amongst others, that we should be in for.
Good player.
And this was about a year. This was about a year before he went to Newcastle. I like him a lot. I think he's a really, really good centre forward who can play on the wing. He can play off of a wing. He's a really good finisher, and he took the chance really well. But again, it was just a kick in the balls because they didn't have to work hard for it. They didn't, they did nothing for it. And that's when I was getting, not to the stage where I was starting to think about chucking things at the telly, but it was like, I really don't want this one to bite us back. It was frustration more than anything else because the performance levels were there. And that's all I said at the start of the game. I put it into a group, was like, put in a performance and the result will be fine. We'll win the game handy. And it turns out we did. But that was the performance I was hoping for a while because I don't think we've played well, arguably throughout December. I don't think we've played well. We've got results, but I don't think we've played well.
Yeah, West Ham in the cup, I think, was good.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. But I'm on about in the league. Thanks, Mark Donegan, for 5 gifted subs. Guys, grab your subs. Hopefully you've got that you accept gifts on your settings for YouTube. But if you want to become a member of the Talkin Kop, it's $3.99 a month. And once we get over the Christmas and New Year stuff, and we get back to normal, there's going to be shed loads of shows that are going to be both live and are going to be live for members only. So if you want to be involved in that, please, it's $3.99 a month. It helps us out an awful lot. And, thanks very much for Mark for chucking in the gifted subs. Really, really appreciate it. And, we look forward to seeing the people who take them in the Telegram members group and having the banter with all of us, because it is a great laugh and it is a good way to get through the day as well.
Yeah, no kidding. So those memberships were grabbed real quick. So Gare Cahill, Morton, CJ, Stigblom, Anderson, and Minnie Ann have snagged up those memberships. So thank you, Mark. Also, one of Gav's next shows that he's going to be hosting might be Sunday night, maybe one morning on a 30 or something like that. Because we've passed over the 100 member mark, he's going to be raffling off another prize. And speaking of raffling off prizes, we had our Szoboszlai jersey that was raffled off up over the Christmas period. We've got another prize coming up soon, so stay tuned on that. Also, the charity stuff that's going to be coming back online once Gav gets all of his details ironed out right there. So yeah, we've all had a week of eating heavy and drinking heavy, and spending time with friends and family and relaxing. And now it's getting into that sprint for the finish line. Chris, you said earlier when we were going through the lineups that Livramento played well. I will point out that on the 60-minute mark, Luis Diaz absolutely skinned him. Absolutely skinned him and flashed the ball.
He can do that to a lot of people.
Yeah, but I mean, this one was absolutely lovely. It was one of those chop change inside. It was like early Bobby Firmino sort of move. Nobody gets on the end of the flashed across ball through the box. And then a few minutes after that, we ring the changes. And once again, I think there's been maybe one game this season where we've done our post-match reaction show and went, I don't think the subs work. Subs worked. The subs worked. I mean, you looked at our
despite what Gary Neville will tell you, which is the subs apparently made Liverpool worse, which he was just getting into before we scored.
Whereas I saved this comment here from Vase of Flowers. It was a beautiful turn of phrase. Neville being on all our commentary for Sky Games is palpable nonsense. Radicus Mancunicus should be relieved of his LFC commentary duties for a while. And if that isn't the most perfect description of Gary Neville in a most scientific manner, that's lovely. But they did. I mean, we had Gravenberch came on for Szoboszlai, who apparently might have a little bit of a hamstring issue. Gakpo came on for Darwin Núñez, and the man, Diogo Jota, comes on for Luis Diaz, who I thought Luis Diaz had an incredible game. I thought he was very good, and I thought he got taken off because he looked like he just might pick up that second yellow card.
Yeah, I think we knocked out the early one because I thought Diaz played well. It was unlucky, roughly, not to have the goal. But as Neil Atkinson of Anfield rightly points out, please do not listen to the voices of worried Mancunians. It's not real. And it's true. If Gary Neville's worried about you and, things are quiet and, I'd be concerned, do you read that as he's shit in the bed because he's going, it's Liverpool side for real. This is what Gary Neville's doesn't want you to realise. This Liverpool side is very good. As much as I'm frustrated with how we finish, it's because we know how good this side is. And we know there's a league title to be won. And Gary Neville knows his little piss pot of a club is nowhere near a league title. I won't be near a league title for years. And it's quite funny to see.
Yep. And then very shortly after the changes, what is now becoming very much like when Thiago first joined us, an obligatory yellow card for Wataru Endo. Just one more before he goes off to captain Japan to what is hopefully a successful Asian Cup for him. And then the 66-minute, Kev, this is another one that I've starred with PGMOL written beside it. Joelinton finally picks up what should be his third yellow card of the match. And I mean, it's just the consistency stuff. And I mean, it sounds like you're just bitter when you only talk about poor refereeing when you're on the losing end or you come out with a draw or something like that. So I think it's important to also mention it when you come out with all three of the points, that some of what passes for refereeing is just awful. And it's not like I've taken in a fair bit of other teams' contents over the Christmas period because some of the results went very Liverpool's way. And there's a pretty solid consensus amongst all the fan bases that the refereeing is just awful. Like it's bad.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the thing is, I liked what Klopp said in his pre-match press conference the other day when he was talking about VAR, and someone put the question to him to get rid of VAR, and it was like, what on earth are you talking about? Get rid of VAR? It was almost like shock to Klopp that was even in the realms of discussion. But what he said was, use VAR better. We've been saying this for the bones of 2 years, and at the end of the day, the technology isn't the problem. It never was. It's the officials who are using it. It's their interpretation of the current rules is the problem. I mean, we'll get on to some of the that Joe Linton booking. You could tell the reaction in the crowd. The reaction of the crowd was like, finally, but it was one of those ones that it was coming. Go back to Endo quickly. Endo was brilliant again today.
Yes, he was.
He doesn't do anything. Yeah, we're going to miss him because he doesn't do anything spectacular, but he does the basics really, really well. He's not the quickest, he doesn't have to be. Not when you're in that position with the game intelligence to be able to read what's going on. And Sky, to their credit, did in the build up to the game, they did a piece on Endo, and they showed a stat for Liverpool's first 14 games without him, and their last, I think, 5 with him. And they focused on the amount of shots on target we faced. And it got down to, in 5 games that Endo started, it got down to 1.8 shots on target as an average for the 5 games. And bearing in mind, 2 of those games were against Arsenal and Manchester United. I mean, and it's not all down to Endo, but a large majority of it is purely and simply because his ability to anticipate danger and snuff it out and have the bravery to snuff it out when it's high up the pitch. Look, I was just really impressed with him. He is going to be missed for sure. Is he the long-term answer in that position? Don't think so. But at the end of the day, he's a very useful asset to the squad. And for the fee that we paid for him, I think it's a reminder to everyone: trust the club when they're bringing players in. When a player actually does the lean at the AXA and signs on the dotted line, trust the club. All right.
Or perhaps not judge him. Or perhaps not judge him after 3 games.
Exactly.
With no preseason, there might be a reason why there's a bit of a slow start.
And the games he played in, we were down to 10 men or 9 men in pretty much all of them. Yeah. But I mean, it's a great show to bring up Endo there, Kev, because Sam Tandy says Endo won 2 massive 50-50 challenges against Bruno in the first half, one which got Bruno his yellow card. He also, 73rd minute, I had to change pens because I ran out of ink because I was taking too many notes. I have Newcastle counter, Endo does a plus, and the next thing I have is we score, make it 2-1. So that's the difference that Endo makes. And I mean, Chris,
Curtis Jones starts and ends a goal.
And also it's my favorite new development in an old player in our team, which is the Mo Salah side pocket pass, where he just waits for that angled run. He loves it, and he's damn good at it. He is so good at it. He puts that ball on an absolute plate for Jota. And yeah, like you said, Curtis Jones, start the move, finish the move, tap in.
Big goal. Big goal, big game, big. Yeah. And listen, Goldie's not in the chat, but this is what me and Kev are talking about. Big moments, big games. Curtis Jones is there for you. Quote from Klopp. Klopp and Curtis Jones, special player. He sets the level. Counter pressing was absolutely exceptional. So many good performances. I can't remember a bad one. We've had to be because Newcastle were there, And I keep saying most just people. I've got this weird anti-Curtis Jones agenda. When he's fit, he's straight in. Right? Just go, which nice new shiny sign you get in. And this is now a consistent run because he did the last 9 games of last season. He's done a good chunk of this season. I think the only game he's lost has been dead rubber against Union and the Spurs game when he gets sent off. That's it. And that's a run now of over 20 plus games now. It's not like it's over a quarter of a season now you've seen this guy involved. He was the best. To be honest, Mo gets all the plaudits because he gets an assist and 2 goals. Me and Kev both think Jones is the best player on the pitch. Comfortably. And he just doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, it's okay. Let him fly under the radar. I'm very happy having a player like that in the team. It's a terrible taste in my mouth just to even bring him up because I'm still salty about it, but Jordan Henderson was that for years. for years, where when he played, people complained about him, and then when he was out of the team, you went, why aren't we functioning correctly? And you're like, oh shit, after he's out for 2 games, you're like, it's Henderson. That's what we're missing is Henderson. And then as soon as they're fit, like you said, right back into the team. And that's what you get for persevering with players, for not cutting bait on players that have been in your academy and have learned your system. And you guys are in a very generous mood tonight. Nigel just donating another membership there. Andy Kaufman, the lucky beneficiary of that. Welcome to the madness, Andy. And a warning to anybody that gets put into the Talkin Kop members chat on Telegram. Anything you say there can and will be serialized by Gab, probably on a 30 in the morning. But it's absolutely brilliant and very, very good fun.
I think what people have forgotten with Jones is he broke into side as an attacking wide left player with a lot of flair. Probably was a bit careless with the ball. And then during the COVID year, when he had to play a lot more than he probably should have done because of injuries and half our centre mids play centre back. They tried to make him genie, which was keep the ball, curbed his attacking enthusiasm. Now he's fit. You see the benefit of that because now he's got the best of both worlds, where he can do the genie thing of defensive work, cover your fullback. Loves taking the ball under pressure. Will spin off a player. Is very cute with the ball, but he's now starting to add a bit more of that, going back to what he always had: a killer ball or a shot on him. You start to see a development of a player, and not every player is just brilliant straight away. You wish it were because it makes life a lot easier. But this is what a few years development, and you see the same with Elliott. Slightly different player, but again, you see the development of him over 2 years.
Yeah. It's something that a lot of people have said in terms of trying to compare him. Obviously, not the same types of players, but the way that Manchester City and Pep Guardiola handled Phil Foden, and then you look at how, holy shit, he's looked fantastic in the last couple of games for City.
Because he's been held back in the reins, so.
Exactly, and not heaping too much pressure. And he had that season. It was at the 2021 season where we just had absolutely no midfielders or anything, and Jones was being forced to play, and then holding him back again. And I feel it's the same thing. Here comes, I don't know who accused me of shoehorning it in, but it's the same thing that we're doing with Elliott, where we were kind of forced to play him a lot at the start of last season, and now that we have more options, we're able to scale him back and use him a little bit more sparingly. Look at Nigel. You are all over the place, Nigel. What a happy new year you must be having. Another gifted membership. Stephen Platt is now a member of the show. Gavin's going to be so happy. We're really pumping the numbers up. So we score. We make it 2-1 immediately after. I think it was while we were celebrating. Alexis McAllister, Kev, makes his long-awaited comeback, because when he went out after that game, I can't remember which game it was that he picked up that cut on his knee in. They made it seem like it was just, it's just a little cut on his knee. Just a little cut on his knee. He'll be fine. I don't know why Nigel's trying to gift a membership to Red Steve. He just joined the main Telegram chat, and that's bad enough as it is. But McAllister...
There's only so much Red Steve you can take.
Yes, exactly. It's McAllister comes on for Endo. Newcastle goes down the other end. Almiron does poorly. He should just try to go with his right foot. Cuts back in on his left foot, skies it out. And then we score again, Kev. And it's happy days. Mo plays an outrageous pass. An outrageous pass. It was similar to, what was that? He played that one to Mane against City, was it? Did he play? Or against United, maybe? It was one of the Mancs for sure. That he played that outside of the foot pass. That one might have been with his right foot. I think this one was with his left foot. Gakpo's just barely onside. It's a double shot of not being Darwin Núñez. He's just barely onside as opposed to just barely offside, and the ball bobbles in off of his feet. But Mo Salah, come on.
Yeah, it was, for me, all made by the incisive pass from McAllister.
Yeah,
it was a midfield splitting pass to begin the whole move, and Salah was close enough to make the pass. It was a brilliant pass. It really was, and the scuffed shot probably does the keeper, because that winning off Gakpo studs, and 3-1, you're like, now it feels you can relax. It was because I didn't see, they'd done nothing. This is 78 minutes and they'd still done nothing. And I thought, okay, look, we gifted them one, but in all fairness, we could either kick right on from here now, or we can just put our foot in the bowl and manage this out. And
Well,
it was just
in between in between the goals, I mean, Bruno absolutely fouls Jota. I thought it was a clear yellow card. And again, Anthony Taylor, a good advantage is played. And again, Anthony Taylor completely forgets about the tackle and does not go back and book Bruno Guimaraes again. And then on our feed, because we were watching the same ones, it was Townsend said when Newcastle got the corner, if they're going to have a comeback, they need to do something from here. And holy shit, did we not defend that corner? That was bad.
But
Klopp
Botman, Klopp was doing his nut, but Sven Botman is a beast, and he just is. And it was poor. This is, I suppose, one of those things when you make changes that you have to make sure the right man is picking up the right player. You can't have a situation where Diogo Jota is trying to block Sven Botman running onto the ball. Longstaff put the cross in. The cross was inch perfect. It was right in that area where you want to run in and attack it. Once he got a run at all, he was going to be nigh on impossible to stop. Alisson could do nothing about it. It was a brilliant header, and it's something that I want to see more of from Virgil and Ibu, in all fairness, with the quality that we have in delivering set pieces. But yeah, once Botman gets a run on you, he's 6'4", he's built like a shithouse, and you ain't stopping him. There is no way on earth that Diogo Jota should be in the same postcode as Sven Botman running at you.
That's the maddening thing. Where you're going like, why is the shortest man on the pitch got Sven Botman of all?
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't think he had him.
Well,
I don't think he had him.
No.
I think Botman runs off of his marker because he had a free run, he had a free jump, and he had a free header. And it was a great cross. And that's how you draw it up. Like, whoever's the set piece coach, presumably Jason Tyndall, because he seems like he takes all the credit around Newcastle, will be very, very happy with that. Like, the special teams coach will be extremely happy with that. But, I mean, he gets a 5-yard run and jumping at Diogo Jota. It couldn't be further from a fair competition. Did you start getting nervous at this point, Chris?
When I got annoyed. I was just like, I texted Kev, I messaged Kev going, can we not just make it fucking routine for once? It's just like, they've literally had 3 shots and it's 2 goals. This is so annoying. But I did say to Kev that it might play to our advantage because they're going to go for it now. So maybe we can hit them on the break. But me and Kev both said before he got took off, I'd have left Endo off. I was a bit nervous, and Endo got took off thinking, I just left him off. But we eventually get the 4th.
I honestly would have left Endo on. I would have left McAllister on purely to play in that 8 role. I thought it was tailor-made for him to come on and replace Damo, because I didn't think Damo had his best game. You know,
I thought he was off it today, wasn't
he? He did a lot of things really well. His work rate, some of his link play was okay. We bossed the midfield, so in all fairness, he can have been atrocious. But some of his decision making just wasn't quite right. You know, it just wasn't quite there. But wouldn't be going too hard on him. But I'd have preferred to see McAllister coming on for him.
But then the pass he doesn't need to put Jota through is ridiculous.
Yes, well,
it's Alonso-esque. It is.
We're going to get there. So we've had a much more level-headed opposition fan drop in. John Mitchinson says, "Evening, lads. I'm a Newcastle fan living in Isle of Man. No doubt Liverpool fully deserved the win. We got off lightly with the score, but my point is the second pen was a clear dive and should have been booked." I'll come to you on this one first, Chris. We were obviously talking about it because it's kind of the big contentious talking point of the entire game beforehand. I'm so happy that you brought up the pass from McAllister, though, because on our feed, it was, what a pass, and they never showed the replay. So after the game, I had to go and rewind it, and
I did the same thing.
What a pass!
If I'm being honest, I've seen a replay from a different angle, which does show he does get an elbow on the act, which knocks his step, which is why he goes wide. And I just keep giving away gifts today.
He's just. We found Santa Claus, and it's
not. I'm with Emmett though. Yes, there is contact. I personally don't think that's enough contact for him to go down. I think he's gone down because he took a shit touch, and he takes a shit touch before the keeper touches him. put it this way. Me and Kev have done enough shows. Matt, you've done enough shows now. Up way round, Isak goes through. Alisson does that touch. They give a penalty. They score, make it 3-3. Guarantee you, everyone's going, it's corrupt. They're trying to fuck us over. Once again, another VAR decision has absolutely screwed us over. For me, if that's given against Liverpool, I'd be raging. Listen, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I don't care. It's gone my way. But for me, I think it's extremely soft. But I think it's become one of those decisions where if the ref doesn't give a pen and just books him, VAR ain't turning that over.
No.
It's if VAR had turned it over, I really wouldn't have been sat here going, that's an outrageous decision. I'd have gone like, yeah, it's probably about right.
Yeah.
So, but on the positive side for Mo, that's how you take a penalty. Those change of boots, clearly superstition. He missed the penalty, so he changed his boots and gets 2 goals on assist. So just do that every time he miss.
Did he change his boots? Oh.
Yeah, if he had yellow boots, he's got blue boots on the second half, and it worked out really well for him. So there was a superstition. Those boots just he'd fallen over him, but he swapped his boots, and that was it. So, but that's a proper penalty. That's the sort of penalty when Mo's in his groove. No keeper saving that. But for me,
yeah,
I would be disappointed that was given against us. So for me, I don't think it's a pen. I know
Kev,
people disagree with me. That's fine.
What's your take on it?
Once it was given, it was never going to get overturned. He did what every forward should do in that situation. He felt the contact, he went down, got the pen. And it's something and you've seen it throughout the game tonight where Salah was fouled 2 or 3 times. He didn't go down. He didn't get the decision. So if you don't go down, you're not going to get a decision. I mean, Dubravka, the actual turn that Jota did to get away from Dubravka was brilliant.
Yeah.
But the touch I think he took it around Dubravka with his right foot and then knocked it on with his left foot. That touch was probably a little bit too hard and the angle was a bit too tight. Felt the contact, he went down. And 99 times out of 100, a striker will go down in that position. If it's given against you, Chris is absolutely right. You're tamping. You're coming onto the stream and you are absolutely raging. And I am backing you 100% because it's bollocks. But This is 2024 and this is football.
Mm.
And do you remember, I remember years and years ago, back when Michael Owen first started doing this. And when Michael Owen first started doing this, he was brilliant at it, but he got slaughtered for it because English players don't do that. But guess what? Continental players have been doing this for decades. And at the end of the day, if you feel the contact in the box and you're a striker and it's your advantage, you go down. At worst, you're going to get a booking for a dive. But in a VAR era, you're making the referee make a decision. That's all you're doing. And
but this is where
the referee if he doesn't go down, the referee doesn't make a decision. If he goes down, he has to make a decision. And either way, VAR are reviewing it.
But if he doesn't go down, we're probably all slaughtering him saying, when you go down, you learn the penalty.
Go down.
Yeah,
exactly. And
I still think in my opinion, I do sort of agree with Ian Wright in this a little bit. I still think he can get the ball to take a touch and still slot it. But I think he should decide I'm taking the pen. And do you know what? Look.
Yeah. See,
this is where I was getting a bit peeved. And I'll say if I disagree with a Newcastle fan on social media, the joys. It's all quite fair. Gary Neville then kept bringing back up the Diaz one, going, well, we had this with Diaz one. Oh, I probably accept the Diaz one, but I don't accept this one. It was like, one, why are you bringing up the Diaz one? It's a Stonewall penalty. But that is, and people can't see it, that's what Gary Neville does. It paints a picture, paints an narrative. So next time a local player goes down, well, the last 2 were a bit questionable. I might not get that. That's what he's painted, because that's how he works, But for me, I wouldn't have if it had not been given, I wouldn't have been screaming blue mad if I had been going, that feels about right.
Yeah. So
it was one of them. It was one of them, 100%.
Yeah, it's going to be, if it gets given against you, it's going to be one that you're fuming against. So I totally understand John's, especially as a Newcastle fan, being furious about it. at the same time, there is contact. It's undeniable that he makes contact on him. It looks a little awkward that he takes the step or two before he ends up going down to the ground. But that was what I was saying to Chris before the game is if he doesn't go down, and because his touch the first touch takes him around the keeper, the touch with the left foot to set the ball up to put it in the back of the net was a little poor of a touch. If he gets onto that and tries to hook it in with his left foot and puts it into the side netting, that's never being given as a penalty. You know,
I think he's got
contact.
I think he's got time to take a touch and then slot it.
He might have, but he might not have thought that in the moment, because when you round the keeper, you know that the defenders are rushing back. You're probably going to try to snatch at that chance. Maybe not, because Jota the Slaughter is the coolest man on the pitch with the ball in the danger area.
I mean, listen,
but saying is,
fair play to Klopp. You bring a guy on, and he gets an assist. He gets 2 assists. So
I mean that's just our little Diogo. He is something. Everybody says that he's the best finisher. He's the most clinical player we have, and that he's going to be bloody important for us for the next month.
He's the most vital person in our squad now until Mo's back. Until Mo's back. And last time when we were tracing, I know we didn't do the quadruple. We tried to do the quadruple. Mo was away this time of year as well for AFCON, and Diogo was the most key person. Got you through League Cup semi-finals and everything. So, just a captain Mo. Yeah, that's true. I think I captain Mo, but the prick missed the goal.
Yeah, well, I captain Darwin, so you're all welcome. I'm going to drop him, and then he's going to absolutely start exploding with the goals.
That actually now puts Mo's now level with Haaland. I was thinking both on 14, and he's actually top of the assist record as well with 8, along with Watkins. So
yes, but obviously Bukayo Saka is having a much better season than Mo Salah. I think at the halfway point they had the highest rated players so far in the season, and Salah was in like 5th place, and it's like I don't understand how other people can't recognize.
Saka's a really good player, but he isn't yet at doing Mo Salah numbers. He isn't, and that was always my criticism of Arsenal is it's not because we're playing him next. It's not me. Because if they score fast, they will, then so be it. Who in that Arsenal attack is going to get 20 league goals? It ain't Jesus, because he's never done it. Don't think Saka's done it yet. He has the potential to, but he's not done it yet. Martinelli definitely isn't that person.
No, I don't.
And then Ketty isn't that person. That's a big problem for Arsenal. Is you need at least one lad who's going to get you 20 league goals. Liverpool got Salah. I think below Salah, I think that's where we can all now say it's a bit of a debate. Whereas City, it's Haaland. And actually, I think if he got 100 games, I actually think Alvarez is probably a 20-goal season striker. I actually think he is Haaland's replacement when he leaves. I think they've already got the lad ready.
Well, hopefully that comes sooner rather than later, because it's been kind of nice having that freaky Norwegian robot on the sidelines and not scoring hat tricks on a quite regular basis. I mean, let's see here. Yeah, Mo's 151st in the Premier League for Liverpool. He's 31 to 38 on penalties now, so just shy of 82%. There was a point just before the 90th minute when Timmy Sean Longstaff absolutely smashes into Jota knee on knee, gets a yellow card for it. That it was like, oh fuck, no, because we know that Jota likes picking up a little bit of a.
Did you notice he did the looked back and the things you did to your mate, hold me back, and he was doing that looks and I go, make sure you fucking got hold of me. Oh, Virgil, I'll take you on. You can see it. He's like, I'll take you on. You can see him looking back and go, don't let go. It's one of those, don't let go.
Finally, in about the 91st minute, I got the first real piece of cringe Martin Tyler commentary where he said, and I quote, "Finally, Anfield is in full voice in the 90th minute." Oh, fuck off. Were you not listening? Like, Diogo Jota's song just rang around the ground.
I think Neville went, oh, it's quite lively tonight. I said, and I feel like saying, do you know why it's quite lively tonight? Because this is the game that matters. That's where you are, Gary. This game matters. I think you've been at enough games at Old Trafford. I've watched many games of United when they're winning stuff. Old Trafford was always quiet, apart from the big games, the games where you think, this is a win to take us top. This is a win to open a gap. And the crowd gets behind. That's how crowds work. It's a myth that everyone thinks every game the crowd's massive. It's not. It's for the key moments.
Yeah. And that's all you can ask for is that your fans get behind your players. Helps that a lot of our players have absolutely dynamite songs. I was really hoping that we were going to hear the Bobby Firmino song at some point, because I think it was pretty common knowledge that he was in the house this evening. But the final couple minutes of the game, we got 7 minutes of added time, and it really felt like all of our players wanted to get Mo Salah a hat trick. At one point, Gravenberch played an insane crossfield ball to Mo. He cuts in, his shot's blocked, Jota's rebound's blocked. And then Trent plays a great ball up the line to Mo. He tries to go 1v3 in the final minutes of the game. Just can't quite get it done. And it finishes 4-2. And the question becomes, man of the match, Mr. O'Sullivan.
I don't know if Kev can hear us. Oh, he can hear us now, Kev.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Yeah, my headphones are starting to play up a bit. Look, Curtis Jones for me. I thought he was phenomenal. He was involved in almost everything. His role in midfield was brilliant. Got a goal. He was just everywhere, left and right. Yeah, look, I mean, there were some good performances throughout the pitch, but for me, Jones was my man of the match anyway. I said it's literally as soon as the final whistle came. Emma makes a point there for Joe Gomez. I think defensively, Joe Gomez was really good. I think it was an outlet all the time on the left. He just wasn't utilised as an option on the left. They kept coming inside and going out to the other side. That's kind of one of my only frustrations with how they're using Joe. Is seems like everybody, when they get the ball on the left side, tends to look across. But yeah, Joe Gomez was very good. Defensively, very, very good.
I think because we have Jones and Diaz in front of Gomez, I think that masks the need for him always to bomb down the line and cut back on his right foot, because Jones likes to go on the outside and then Diaz gives you that pace option. So I think it kind of masks the... Because I do think eventually teams will start giving Joe the ball, not because he's not very good on the ball, but get it on his left foot because he's right footer playing left back. But look, I agree. Joe Gomez definitely deserves a shout out. I mean, to be fair, Mo probably does deserve a shout out. You know, he's very Mo Salah. He's very Mo Salah. Where you go like, oh, what? Mo's not quite what I thought he was today. And you go, oh, he's got 2 goals and assists, 2 goals and assists, and probably should have a hat trick. Oh yeah, it's a bit of the Allison thing. We sort of go, oh yeah, he's actually played quite well.
Well, and the hockey assist for Jones's goal. You know, like
he's involved in every goal.
For Jones's goal.
I must admit, I agree. I think Jones. I thought Jones was the best in midfield. I think he's become, which I don't think every player is. I think he's become a tempo setter, which is quickening the pace up when we need it to, and then trying to take the sting out of the game. And that's his first goal of the season. I think that hopefully now, if he gets a run of games, he can start adding a few more goals and assists to his game, because it's definitely in there. And that's starting to become a little bit of a trademark goal now, that little tapping, someone there square for a tapping. City got loads of goals when they won titles doing that. So we can keep doing that as a bit of a regular goal.
One honourable mention, Martin Dubravka. Saved.
Brilliant.
Yeah, 10 saves. 10 saves. I don't know what more he could have done.
I think the Gakpo was brilliant.
Yeah, he probably had one of his best performances as a keeper, and he's going away after conceding four goals. It's not often. Paul Givan is spot on. Dubravka, prime Casillas, and if you know the game, you'll know what it is.
Yeah.
It was Liverpool against Real Madrid. We covered it in a previous show, Chris. And Casillas on the night was... Yeah, Casillas was ridiculous on the night.
Oh,
and
Liverpool
they got battered.
Battered 4-0. And honestly, if you watch the game back, just watch back. If it's not for Casillas, Liverpool generally could have put 8 or 9 past. And this was a good Real Madrid side. It wasn't the Real Madrid we've seen today, but it was a very good Real Madrid side.
Credit where it's due, Martin Dubravka.
The Gakpo save, I generally thought Vitelli had glitched because I was celebrating it. Oh, what a goal, what a finish. I was like, oh shit, he saved it. Oh, I generally thought Vitelli had glitched, and that's why I just not seen it hit the back of the net. And I was like, oh shit, he saved it.
Yeah, he just had one of them nights. And some keepers do when they come to Anfield, But look, credit where it's due. He was really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think defensively, I mean, even Dan Burn going into the game, I'm sure a lot of the Newcastle fans would have been, looking through gritted teeth. That doesn't make any sense, but quite concerned about the prospect of big Dan Burn going up against Mo Salah. But for the most part, he did quite well. Like I said, Livramento did fairly decently against Diaz on the other side. Just they offered so little going forward. But yeah, Curtis Jones, where is that comment there from Rory that I had up and then put back down here? It says, to back up Kev, Jones had the most touches in our team after the 3 subs were made on 64 minutes. So he didn't hide in the moment when our team changed. For me, that is a factor in giving Jones man of the match. And I mean, he was... Yeah, and he was very fluid. I noticed throughout the game, like we weren't him and Szoboszlai were quite happy to change sides for a bit, and the forwards as well too. Like we're becoming a lot more dynamic in our positioning going forward. You saw in the first half, I thought Trent stayed as more of an orthodox right back a fair bit, but then in the second half, he was popping up everywhere, all over the midfield, and it feels like it's starting to click. Like
it did feel like a game where he had to invert, because I think that's what Newcastle wanted. I think Newcastle wanted it to be a bit of a dogfight in the middle. I think today was a game for width. But I think perhaps when you play Arsenal, that will be a game where if Trent plays, you want to invert. Yeah. I mean, that'll be interesting who we play against Arsenal.
It's just a pity, actually, that you talking about Dubravka there, Kev, that we couldn't have hit like the 7 of the 7 XG that we had, and Dubravka had a terrible game, because then it could possibly lead to Loris Karius starting in goal for Newcastle, or Dizzy Gillespie, I believe, is their other backup goalie. But I mean, it was a very, very good match, a very, very fun way to start 2024. And then Centurion LFC comes in here and just absolutely drags it all back down into the mud and reminds us that it's nearly a fortnight before our next league game. So, yeah.
Yeah, but we've got the FA Cup. We've got the FA Cup, and we've got a semi-final to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, but we got a league to win, Chris. We got a league to win. 99 points is still on the cards.
We've got more than a league to win. We've got to go for everything. That's the mentality. Yeah. Come on, Matt. You should know this. You know the game.
All right, I like that. Well, you've been Mr. Debbie Downer here. I'll say, I don't know, we can win the league, and now you're thinking we're going to win everything.
I didn't say.
I'm happy you're on board.
I think the phrase I said was, "There's a league to be won, so start playing serious." That's the phrase I used.
99 points, baby. 99 points. That's what we're going for. I think that's just about enough. We're coming in under an hour and 20, so we did do a little bit of extra time to talk about what was an absolutely lovely game. Big thanks to the people that donated tonight. Mark Donegan, 5 subs. Nigel, I don't know, he must have given about a half dozen or something like
67.
that. Yeah, Kieran B at the start of the show gave 5 subs. So, I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. It's even better by the fact that Red Steve got none of them. He can pay for his own sub. That's if you want into that chat, Red Steve, you damn well have to pay for it. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. If you're new here and you're not a member, I count on all of our members to have already hit the like button. But if you're in here lurking, joining us for the first time, listening to it on download, rate the show. If you liked it, give us a 5-star review. If you didn't like us, let us know why you didn't like it, and we'll try to have Chris correct his behavior afterwards. But hit the thumbs up button on the YouTube on your way out. Chris, anything before we go?
Oh God, no, all good. See you all on Sunday. Sunday we'll play next, isn't it?
Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday will be a double barrel post-match show, and then right into the big Sunday night show with Gav and the gents going on with there. So, and then presumably Gav will be recovered from his favorite week of the year, Christmas and the New Year's, and into the 30s, because I believe Mr. O'Sullivan is a bit of a weight loss challenge contest going on, isn't there?
It's not so much of a contest, but there is. Myself, Emmett, and Gav are doing. It's not for charity. It's not for anything. It's just for ourselves, really. But the 3 of us have decided that January 1st we're going to start doing a bit of a weight loss thing. And Emmett has rightly said he's off for some more rice cakes.
Yeah.
No, look,
you can't dunk them in chocolate. It doesn't count then. You know, just so you know, that doesn't count. Yeah,
we had the weigh in this morning. And just keep an eye on stuff that might come out over the next few weeks or months or whatever. But we'll keep everyone updated as to how we're going.
I couldn't do that. Last time I stood on the scales, it said get off. So that's what I said. Ow, you're hurting me.
Yeah.
My weighing scales is a lying sack of shit. So
they all are, Kev. They all are. But I mean, yeah, that's absolutely great. And I mean, hey, it's the time of year where everybody tries to do something to get a little bit healthier, and then as the stresses of the Premier League title race and the push for a Europa League go on and on, I'm sure the cans will sneak back in for all of us. But hey, we're off to a very good start. So on behalf of Chris Brack, Kev O'Sullivan, I've been your host, Matt. This has been the Talkin Kop post-match show. Finished at a raucous finally in the 90th minute Anfield. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 2. And let me tell you what, boys, we're top of the league. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you on the next show.